Good morning, and thank you for joining Yoga with Adriann White here at the Community Arts Center of Cambria County. We have folks joining us live and in person, as well as those of you who are participating through our YouTube channel. So for our chair yoga program today, just remember, yoga is about doing what your body lets you do today. You're not trying to keep up with me. You're not comparing yourself to me or to anyone else. You do what your body lets you do safely. And if I say we're going to raise our arm and you're like, oh, my shoulder hurts, and this is all you can do, this is what you do. If it hurts to raise the arm that much, maybe just bring the hand to the shoulder. And I'll remember to cue some of those modifications for you as we go through the program. So let's go ahead. We'll get started. Slide all the way back in whatever seat you have. And as we sit, we want to find our proper posture, our good posture, which means our tailbone points straight down to the ground. We stack our shoulders above our hips, and we stack our ears back above our shoulders. If you'd like, your hands can rest to your lap, or your arms can hang by your sides. Whatever's most comfortable for you. And now I invite you, close your eyes. You should be in a nice, safe setting, seated well, securely on your chair. And the idea behind closing the eyes is it helps us focus, because it helps shut out the distractions of the world outside of us. So with our eyes closed, we can hear the sound of nature in the background. And we can become more aware of what we feel. So let's just feel, no change, just feel your breath as it flows in through the nose. And then as your breath flows back out through your nose or your mouth. We breathe every moment of every day of our lives. Yet how often do we pay attention to something that's so vital to our living as breath? Oftentimes, the only time we think about our breath is if we have a cold or allergies or asthma, and we're having difficulty breathing. But our breath and the speed at which our breath flows can help regulate how we feel, can help regulate how our bodies act. As we're sitting in the chair and we're just observing that breath flowing in and flowing out, notice, is your breath gently slowing down? Do you find that you're taking longer to fill the lungs on the inhale? Do you find that you're taking longer to empty the lungs on the exhale? And in the process, is that helping your muscles relax? Is that allowing any tension or tightness that we may be experiencing to start to gently fade away? Breathing in, breathing out. As our breath slows, physiologically it also helps calm our heart rate. Also can help gently lower our blood pressure. We already talked about how it can help our muscles begin to relax as we release tension. And it helps our body cut back on the production of stress hormones like adrenaline, and increase the production of our feel-good hormones like serotonin, just by allowing your breath to slow down and deepen. From here, can we keep our eyes closed and just let our arms gently hang by our sides? If you have your shoulders rolled back in your good posture, notice, Are your arms in line with your spine? And as we sit in this good posture, can we feel the weight of our arms gently hanging from our shoulder sockets? And if we focus on the tops of our collarbones, can we feel a little stretch in those muscles that connect our neck to our shoulders, to our arms? From here, on the breath in, let's intentionally hunch our shoulders to the ears. And on the breath out, release that tension. Ooh. Let's do that 3 more times. Breathing in, hunch the shoulders up. Feel that tension and effort that you're holding. Breathe out and release it. Do your last 2. And 1 more time. And then just let the weight of the arms hang. On the inhale, point your fingers to face the floor, reaching to the floor. On your breath out, bend your wrist to point your fingers to the far walls. Inhale, point down to the ground. Exhale, bend the wrist to point to the walls. Continue, inhale, reaching down. Do you feel a little stretch in the outer forearms? And as you exhale and bend the wrist, do you feel the stretch in the inner forearms? As you inhale and point down, do you feel the stretch in the back of the hands? As you exhale and bend the wrist to point fingers out, do you feel the stretch in the palms? 1 more time, inhaling to point. Last time, exhaling to flex. Again, inhale to point, and now exhale and release. From here, we'll go ahead and open our eyes and gently slide to sit to the front edge of our chair. As we sit, our feet are about hip width apart, so that means our knees and our ankles are about as wide as our hip sockets. And we're trying to have our ankles directly underneath our knees. This will give us the best stability for balance, and it's also the safest for our joints. If you have a tendency to sit with your knees tucked under, that puts a lot of bend in the knees, and depending on your knees, that may be more stretching than is comfortable. Where if you keep them in a more 90-degree angle position for the ankles and the knee joints, it's just a little bit safer. We're going to take a movement from Tai Chi and from Qigong and 2 Asian practices to help us focus on breathing and bringing energy in. We're going to let our arms hang. Now let's look to the right. Inhale, bringing try this again. Let's look to the right and inhale, scooping right arm up, gathering up energy and air. And as we exhale and release the air and make openness in us, let's pull that energy down and relax the right arm. Now we'll look left, inhaling to the left and up, gathering up all kinds of good energy. Exhale away any stress or worries, pulling that good energy into you. That's 1 set. Let's do 3 more. Coordinating movement and breath. We inhale and we exhale. We can let our eyes and our head follow our hand. So we feel not just the neck and the head moving, we feel the shoulders, the ribs, the chest moving. Can you let your eyes move in the socket so that the muscles that attach to the eyeballs also get a little exercise? We'll do 1 more time each side. Breathing in and out. Notice how slow the exhale is. As you breathe in, notice how slow the inhale is. And now as we breathe out and come back down, just let your arms relax. Again, we still want our arms in line with our spine. And we're going to do a little more stretching for the neck. We did gently up and down, gently to the sides. Now let's do a breath in. On the exhale, sink your chin down to your chest. Let's inhale, sweeping chin to the right and up the right wall, across the ceiling. And exhale, turning left, sweeping down past the left shoulder to the chest. And again, inhaling to the right and up. Exhaling to the left and down. How about one more time? When you get your chin back down to the center of the chest, we'll reverse. Now inhaling to the left and up. And exhaling to the right and down. As we're keeping our chest up, as we're keeping our shoulders back and open, notice what you feel in the back of the neck. The space down between the shoulder blades. We'll do our last circle. And notice, is it easier to turn your neck in one direction than the other? When you get to the bottom, we'll stop. We'll inhale, come on back to center. Now, let's inhale, forehead to the ceiling. On the breath out, turn right and reach your chin and your nose down behind your right shoulder. Inhale up and exhale down and behind your left shoulder. Roll your eyes. Inhale, lifting up and looking up. Exhale, turning and rolling the eyes to look back and down. Again to the center. And we'll do one more time, right and left. Notice, we're not just turning side to side, we're working at an angle. And do you notice how as one side of the neck is strong to bring our chin down, the other side is long. From here, inhale, forehead up. On the breath out, we'll bring our chin down to our chest. Now let's inhale to look up and behind our right shoulder. And exhale back down to the center of the chest. And inhale to look up and behind our left shoulder. And back down. Remember, use your eyes as well, so that we can keep that movement of our eye muscles strong. We use that when we drive and when we walk. Not just staring straight ahead, one more time each side, but being able to see when we want to turn at intersections, or when we're walking and we need to change direction. And on the exhale, come back to center. Gently inhale to look forward. Keeping the muscles that move our eyes strong is important, because if we get arthritis in our neck or neck muscles are tight because of tension and it hurts to turn your head, especially if you're driving, if you can't turn to see traffic at the intersections, you need to be able to move your eyes to see what's happening. Okay? So we've done some work for neck, shoulders. Let's do a little bit of work at the shoulder socket itself. If we can, we'll put our left hand to our shoulder. And now think of your elbow drawing a great big circle. Inhaling up and back. Exhaling down and to the front. Inhale up and back. Exhale down and front. So notice we're breathing in as our elbow goes back to really open that shoulder. And that openness is what helps us pull the air into our lungs. Now we'll stop. Let's inhale going back and up, and exhale front and down. Remember, you're moving your shoulder to the degree that works for you, and it's your arm bone moving in the shoulder socket. How about one more? And then we'll bring our arm down. If you let both arms hang, what, if any, difference do you notice between left and right shoulders? Does one shoulder feel bigger than the other? Yeah, from that movement. Okay, we'll experiment with range of motion. Let's inhale to the back and up. Exhale to the front and down. So we have our upper arm bone moving inside the shoulder socket, working range of motion. How big can you make that circle? And we know from experience, the bigger the circle is, the slower it goes. And now we'll reverse. Let's exhale to the front, inhale up and back, Exhale, down and front. And notice, does right shoulder move more or less easily than left? We often find that one side of our body has better range of motion than the other side. And we'll stop when we get to the bottom and relax. Okay? Now we're going to skip down to the hips, and we're going to move our thigh bone, our femur, in our hip socket. Excuse me. So if you want, step your left leg out to the side a bit. Here's the trick. We are not going to lean back as we raise our leg. We're going to sit tall with shoulders above the hips as we lift the leg up and do circles in the air. So that means we're going to use our abdominal muscles as well as our thigh muscles. So when you're ready, let's do a breath in and a breath out. Yep. Like you're swinging your leg up over the edge of the bathtub. One more. And now let's reverse and go the other way. And again, notice, does changing directions affect how your hip moves, how your leg bone moves in that socket? And we'll take a break. Notice how they feel. Obviously, there's some discomfort from the work that they did, but again, does one hip feel bigger than the other? Okay, we'll do our left leg. Breath in, and then exhale out and down. Inhale and exhale. Doesn't matter which direction you go, because after this one we're going to reverse our direction. Remember, keep the shoulders above the hips. Our abdominal muscles, our core muscles, need to stay strong as much as possible throughout our lives. And that's not for the vanity of a flat belly. Take a break. If our abdominal muscles stay strong, they help us with the movement of our legs. They help us move our torso. So many things our abdominal muscles can help us with. Vacuum cleaner. If you've ever had abdominal surgery, they say, ladies, don't push the vacuum cleaner, because we do use those core muscles. Okay? So the more we can keep our core muscles strong, like we just used them here to move our leg, the easier our day-to-day activities are, and the less likely we are to have lower back discomfort. Okay? Now we're going to use our brain. So it is said that the left half of your body is controlled by the right half of your brain, while the right half of your body is controlled by the left half. So we're going to work opposite sides of the body, and we're going to do different joints. Let's lift right foot up, and we'll do slow circles of right ankle and left wrist. Now, slow your left wrist down enough so that your fingers and your toes point in the same direction at the same time. If those quadricep muscles in the top of your thigh are getting tired, be welcome to use your right hand to help support that leg. Because now we'll reverse the direction of ankle and wrist circles. Yep. Are you being mindful that your toes and your fingers are pointing the same direction at the same time? Which means that they should both be circling the same way. Take a break. We'll switch sides. Now, I saw a lot of people lean back, and then when we put our foot down, they lean forward. Again, let's be mindful. Think of pushing your belly button to your backbone, or think of pulling it back so that we keep shoulders above the hips as we lift left foot, and now we circle left foot and right wrist. If your ankle's doing a clockwise circle, you want your wrist to do a clockwise circle. If your ankle's doing counterclockwise, your wrist does counterclockwise. If you can't move an ankle, do just the rest. And reverse. We can modify our yoga practice so that we can always do at least something safely. Are we still breathing? If you catch yourself holding your breath, breathe and take a break. I still saw people sitting back up after leaning backwards. You weren't doing that out in your house, were you? Okay, we're going to rest our left elbow to our ribs, because now we're going to lift right foot up. From the knee joint, right foot draws a circle in the air. From the elbow, the left fingertips draw a circle in the air. The foot circle is horizontal. The finger circles are vertical. How are we doing? Don't move your wrist. Just from the elbow joint. and reverse direction. Notice I'm holding my thigh to make sure that the thigh stays still so that I'm not moving at the hip joint. I'm strictly moving from the knee joint so that we can keep the mobility of the knee, the mobility of the elbow, and we'll switch sides. So I'm tucking my elbow to my ribs to make sure that just the elbow joint itself works. Lift left leg up if you want, support the thigh. And remember to do what, everyone? Breathe, yes. Okay, think of pulling your belly button to your backbone so that your shoulders are staying above your hips. Keeping your shoulders rolled back, we're looking good. And reverse direction, yes. I know our natural inclination is want to circle that wrist as well. Can we keep the wrist still? One more circle and take a break. Whew. All right, so we did mobility of wrists and ankles, elbows, knees, shoulders, hips. Let's do a little bit of side body lengthening. Okay, because as we stretch the muscles between the rib bones, as we lengthen through the waist, we are also gently curving our spine. And all of those movements are really good to help us breathe deeply. So let's step our feet out about as wide as the legs of your chairs, having your knees out wider than your hips, having your ankles under your knees, and your toes and your knees point in the same direction. Please don't do this or this, where your knees are outside or inside, your ankles just stacked above. We're going to go ahead and lean left arm into the left leg. So instead of just shifting the whole body with a straight spine, can we think of inhaling right ribs up, gently squeezing bottom left rib to the hip crest. So here's our curve of our spine. And now let's stretch right fingers to the right wall. Notice I have my head back. I didn't drop my chin to my chest. My head is up and back so that my ears are still stacked above my shoulder. As we are actively stretching those right fingers to the right wall, do you feel a little stretch in those bicep muscles? Okay, so now we're going to inhale, if we can, right arm up to the ceiling. If you have right shoulder issues and it hurts to do that, just go ahead and come to here. If your shoulder permits and you can extend right arm across right ear to point to the left wall, be welcome to do so. And notice how as we reach with the right arm, the space between the rib bones opens up and those waist muscles lengthen a little bit more. Also notice how it creates a little stretch in the side of the neck. And we breathe. Okay, now all this length is going to turn into strength. They're going to shorten and tighten as we do a breath in. Now exhale, tighten, pull yourself back to center. Relax that arm down. And as we take a moment to rest, do you still feel like you're sitting like this? That the right side's still a little bit longer than the left? We'll even that up. We are going to squeeze bottom right rib to the hip crest as we lift left ribs up to the ceiling so that we can lean to the right leg. Again, we are curving our spine. Let's inhale to stretch left arm to the wall. Feel that stretch in the biceps. Energize your fingers so that we're not just hanging, we're actively reaching, because it takes strength and energy and effort to reach. If left shoulder permits, we'll reach the arm up. If left shoulder doesn't work, do what you can do safely. And if there's the option, we can extend the arm across the head. If you need to just have your hand to your shoulder, you do what works for your body. Remembering that when we do yoga and we do our stretches, we want to go, ah, I feel that stretch, not ow, that hurts. If you find that you have to wince or grimace or grit your teeth, it means it's going into the level of pain. And so ease up just a little bit. When you're ready, we'll take that length that we've created inside of the neck, the armpit, the ribs, the waist. We're going to do a breath in. On the exhale, turn that length into strength and let those muscles pull you back to center. And relax back down. Now let's do that movement with our breath. So we're going to inhale, right arm up and across. Breathing in to lengthen Exhale, come back down to center, breathing out to strengthen. And now left arm, inhale to lift and open. And exhale to pull yourself back down. Can we do one more time each arm? Breathing in. Feel side ribs reaching up. Feel crown of the head pointing to the side wall. And exhale to pull to center. And one more time with left arm. Inhale, reaching up and over. And exhale, pull to center. And come back down. Now, since we already have our knees wider than our hips, we're going to use this for a little more stretch for our inner thighs and the movement of leg bone and hip socket. We're going to move without moving our legs. You can, if you want, rest your hands to your knees. Now notice spine is nice and straight if you're sitting tall. And we're going to keep this straightness from the crown of the head down the body to the tailbone as we bend at the hips. So please do not let me see you do this. This is not keeping the spine straight, nor is it bending at the hips. It's simply poor posture. Instead, what I'd like to see is nice tall spine. We can lean into the hands bending at the hips. I let my elbows point back behind me. No turtles hunching your shell up. Relax those shoulders. And now maybe bring your forearms to those knees. Can you gently squeeze your shoulder blades together behind you? And feel the openness across the front of your chest and your shoulders. Can you feel the length in the spine from the crown of the head all the way down to the tailbone? And since we created this forward bend at the hips, are we feeling a little stretch in our inner thighs or in our hip sockets? We can do a breath in. On the exhale, hands can come back to push us back up to sit. Let's do that again. Nice big breath in. Think of lengthening the spine, crown of the head up. Exhale, add your forward bend, straight spine. Please don't let me see humped backs. Instead, reach your chest forward. In yoga, sometimes we use the phrase, lead with your heart. And that doesn't just mean do things from a place of kindness and love, but our heart is the center of our body. Let's do a breath in. On the exhale, we'll push up. If we do our forward bend, leading with our heart, our sternum, our breastbone, that means we can't do this. Instead, if we are doing a forward bend, it's our heart center that's reaching forward. So breath in, like you're reaching your heart out to meet someone else's heart in kindness and compassion and love. Now, let's give ourselves a little strength in our calf muscles. Can we lift your left heel up nice and high? Ooh, how's that left calf feel? And then we'll lower the heel down. We'll switch. We'll lift right heel up nice and high. And we'll lower the heel back down. For a challenge, can we lift both heels at once? And in addition to what we feel in our calf muscles, does lifting the heels up in our forward bend change what we feel in our inner hips and inner thighs? Let's exhale, bring those heels down. And again, we'll come on back up to sit. And we'll walk our feet back together. Okay. So we created some strength in the calf, and you notice that as we strengthened the calf, it shortened the muscle. Now we're going to stretch the calf to lengthen. So if you have a yoga strap, we'll grab that. If you don't have a strap at home, be welcome to use a nice soft belt out of a bathrobe or a necktie or a long scarf. We're going to loop our strap around the balls of our right foot. We have two balls, the big ball underneath the big toe and the little ball under the little toe. And as we stretch our heel out in front of us, we can gently use the strap to help make sure we keep our ankle bent so that our toes are pointing up. And it doesn't take a lot of pull to begin to feel that stretch in the calf, the back of the knee, the back of the thigh. Now, as we maintain that gentle pressure, that gentle pull with the strap, again, lead with your heart and bend forward at the hips, leaning left arm onto left leg. Ladies, let's straighten up that spine. Let's roll those shoulders back. Let's straighten up the neck. Again, we don't want to see humped backs because that poor posture predisposes us to end up with what's called a dowager's hump as we get older. Not only is it bad for our posture, but everything that we do that rounds our back compresses the rib cage and means there's less room in our chest for our body to breathe in that nice air that we need to live. When you're ready, inhale, come on up. Now let's go ahead and notice what kind of stretch we get in the back of the right leg as we use our strap to lift that leg up. Remember, you're still keeping your shoulders above your hips. Does raising the leg have more stretch in one part, maybe the thigh, or more stretch in maybe the calf than when we had the leg to the floor? Let's go ahead and do some inner hip stretch, inner thigh stretch by pulling the right leg out to the right side. We're trying to keep our heel hip high. So notice there's a lot of strength in the fingertips. There's some strength in those bicep muscles. Yep. And we're still breathing, right? Okay. And when you're ready, let's exhale, bring that leg back in. Can we gently cross our right leg over top of our left? If you need, straighten that left leg out a bit so that we can create some outer hip and outer thigh stretch. This is particularly helpful if you suffer from sciatica. We'll come back to center. We'll carefully lower the leg down. Keep your foot flexed, meaning ankle bent, as we take our strap off. We're going to sit up tall. Now remember, don't collapse. Stay tall and straight. Think of, I just won first prize for best posture. And now gently bend at the hips, leaning into that left leg again. And notice, is it a little easier to do your forward bend? Is it a little less uncomfortable? Any possibility you can bend a little more, maybe lay in your belly or some of your lower ribs on that thigh. And now in the process, in addition to feeling the stretch in the calf, the back of the knee, the back of the thigh, are we also feeling some stretch in our lower back? Yeah. So if you get lower back discomfort, sometimes stretching that out feels good. When you're ready, inhale, come on up to sit. As we put right foot flat to the floor, I invite you to close your eyes. And now without any visual distractions, notice, does left leg feel bigger than right? Does it feel bigger around? Does the right knee feel like it sits higher than the left? Does the calf feel bigger around? What do you feel because of the work that we did? Okay, when you're ready, we'll go ahead and we'll now switch to do our left leg, stretching the left heel out. We can loop our yoga strap around the ball of that left foot. Okay, just below the little toe. And a little bit of a gentle pull. Notice I keep a bend in my elbow. If I have my arm straight, the first thing is we have a tendency to hunch the shoulder forward. So if I bend the elbow and slide my hand closer to me, I can bring the shoulder back where it belongs, and now I can use the bicep muscles to get that little bit of a pull to add some more stretch to the arch of the foot and the calf. Okay, let's keep this tall posture. Remember, you won first prize for posture, so keep that great posture. Lead from your heart as you bend at the hips. Keep your neck straight. Dropping our head down will do nothing to improve our posture. All it does is close off the front of the throat. So if we keep the neck straight, that air passage stays open and we can breathe more fully and more deeply. How's that stretch? Did it change when we added the bend at the hip? When you're ready, inhale, come on up to sit. And now we use the strength of the arm and the strap to pull our leg up. Are we still pushing belly button to backbone to keep our shoulders above our hips? And now let's use arm strength to pull that leg out to the side, creating inner hip, inner thigh stretch. Still breathing, strong abdominals, strong fingers, strong arm. Let's exhale, come back to center. If you need, straighten the right leg out a little bit so you can take the left thigh over top of the right for that outer hip, outer thigh stretch. Breath in. Exhale, come back to center. We'll gently lower left leg down. We'll make sure right foot's under the ankle. And one more time. Let's add that forward bend at the hips. And to notice in your body, are you able to bend a little farther forward? Or do you go as far, but perhaps it doesn't feel quite as tight? Each exhale is an opportunity to go, and just breathe out any tension. Breathe out any tightness you may be experiencing. When you're ready, we'll take our strap off that foot. And let's come on back to sit. We'll gently put our strap behind us. Or you can put it under the chair or behind you on the chair. We're going to do some twists for the waist, as well as some rib stretches. We're going to keep our chin directly above our heart, like so. I'm not going to turn my head. Chin above the heart. As we breathe in, we'll reach the arms up. As we exhale, turn at the waist, bend at the hips so that your arms point to the right and back. Now inhale to untwist, come back up, maybe look up. Exhale, turn to the left and bend. Think of right shoulder coming to right knee as you reach left. Inhale, come back up. That's one set. Let's do 5 more. Exhale, make sure you add your gentle twist. So we're doing forward bends from the hips, and we are doing spinal twists. We'll coordinate our movement with our breath, noticing how abdomen shortens as we bend and twist, how it opens and lengthens on the inhale. 3 more times each side. Notice as we turn to one side, where in your body do you feel the benefits of the twist? And then when we turn to the other side, does it change where you feel the benefits of the twist? 2 more sets. Now this last time we're going to turn our head and roll our eyes as far to the left as you can, rolling your eyes to look behind you, and then coming to center to look up, and then turning to roll your eyes to the right as you turn your head right. Inhale, come on up. Can we bring our hands down, lacing our fingers behind our head, lifting the head up. And now allow your head to rest in those hands. Are we feeling lots of openness in the front of the chest and the shoulders? Stay where you are, but if you can look down to see what I'm doing, notice we have openness in chest and shoulders. Contrast that with what we did when we were here, and our stretch was in the back of the shoulder. Okay, so we're stretching back of shoulders and between shoulder blades here. We're opening up front of chest and front of shoulders here. We'll do a breath in, lifting our head back to center, and released. Come on down. Whew, how do we feel? If you need, bounce the shoulders a little bit. We're going to work our brains. We're going to tap the toes of both feet up and down, tapping the fingers up and down. Pretty easy. Now we'll tap the heels up and down, including the heels of the hands. So a little movement of the wrists. Now let's go to just the feet. Lift right toes and the left heel and switch. So we're going to alternate the movement of the feet. We always have one heel and the toes are 1 foot off the ground. Okay? Now while we have our feet alternating up and down, rest your elbows to your ribs. And can we cross one hand over top of the other, alternating which hand goes on top? Can we remember to breathe? Again, we're working our brain cells. We're working the mobility of our ankles. We're alternately stretching and strengthening shin and calf muscles. We're working the mobility, the limberness of our elbows. Hopefully, we're creating some new neural pathways in our brains. And those neural pathways are important. Can we have hands circle? We get in a habit of how to do something, and we can do it without thinking about it. Perhaps when you drive to the grocery store, you take the same route to the store and then the same route in reverse to go back home. Well, neural pathways in our brains kind of work like roads. They get us from point A to point B. Reverse those circles. What happens if there's a detour due to road work? Do you know another way to get to the grocery store? We need those detour routes in our brains because if we have an injury, say heaven forbid you fall and you break your right arm and you're right-handed, do you have enough neural pathways in your brain that you can do things left-handed? If you have a stroke, does the other half of your brain have sufficient training and practice to be able to feed you, to dress you, to write when one side of the body doesn't work? So some of those little exercises like what we just did are not just for neural pathways, they're for confidence in case of injury, and they help us clear our minds. Let's go ahead and we're going to sit with our left leg stepped out to the side. We are going to turn at the hips to face the left wall, and now take your right leg and step it back along the front edge of the chair. Hopefully you are sitting close enough to the front edge of the chair that just your left thigh and buttock are on the chair, that your right buttock is actually off the seat. Now can we sit up nice and tall? Our body's natural reaction is to lean forward. Can we use those lower back and middle back muscles and a little bit of our glutes to pull us up to sit so that we can stack our shoulders above our hips? Are we feeling a little back bend in that lower back? Can we push that right heel back a bit more, perhaps straightening the right knee? How's our right calf stretch? How's our right top of thigh and groin stretch? From here, can we inhale the arms up into what I call goalpost arms? Seen from the front, they look like football goalposts. Seen from the side, goalpost arms mean, are your elbows up as high as your shoulders? Your elbows are bent at the level of our shoulders. Now, do we have our wrists back above our shoulders, or do we have our elbows in front of us and our wrists in front of them? Pull it open wide. How's that stretch in the front of the chest and shoulders? Can we inhale to reach up, cross the wrists, spread your fingers wide. On your exhale, make a fist pull back down into goalpost arms with a fist. Inhale, reach up, reverse the cross of the wrist as we spread fingers wide. Exhale, pull back down, goalpost arms with a fist. One more time with this arm in front. Exhale, pull down. One more time with other arm in front. Exhale, pull down. Let's bring the arms all the way down. We'll bend that right knee. And now let's gently come back to sit to the center. Ooh. Yeah. Again, we'll do a forward bend of the hips. We had an arch in the lower back, so lean into your legs. If you want, open your feet so that your knees are as wide as your shoulders, and allow your body to lay between those thighs. Can you rest your shoulders on your knees? And if we let our arms hang outside of our legs, we have some wideness across the upper back. Are we feeling a stretch in the lower back, that spot that really ached when we first sat up and came back to center after doing that lunge position to the left? Remember, we're breathing. From here, we can put our hands to the knees. If you want, you can either push with the arms, or you can use your lower back muscles to pull you up, or you can work the two together to gently come back up to sit. Okay? We'll reverse our lunge and do it to the right. So right knee steps out to the right side. Feel that inner hip, inner thigh stretch. Now we're going to turn through the hips to face right, so that our right buttock and thigh are on the chair. And now we walk the left leg back behind us, curling left toes under. How much can you straighten that left knee back behind you? Now I see some folks with their foot at an angle. Can you curl those toes underneath so that your heel is above your toes? If we were standing up, we'd be standing on our tippy toes. Again, our body's natural inclination is to want to lean forward. If you need, press the hands against the thighs so that as we sit up, We have our shoulders above our hips. We're gently pushing back with that left heel to create left calf stretch, left quadricep stretch, left groin stretch. I didn't cue it the other side, but do you notice a little lengthening and stretching through the abdomen? That means we're giving those intestines lots of room to digest our food. We've rolled our shoulders back. Our head is above our hips, above our shoulders. Now let's go ahead and release those arms. Inhale to goalpost arms, using your back and glute muscles to keep your good posture. This time on the breath out, bring your elbows together in front of you. They're shoulder high, so they're above the bust. Now as you touch your elbows and your little fingers together, get those elbows together above the bust, please. Feel the great big stretch across the points of the shoulders and between the shoulder blades. Let's repeat. Inhale, open wide. Opening front of chest and shoulders. Please keep your elbows up as high as your shoulders. We don't want wimpy chicken wings. Okay? Chicken wings are what you get at the bar on Friday night. We have goalpost arms, and any football player knows those goalpost arms are up tall. And let's exhale. The elbows are still up as high as your shoulders. Big stretch across the upper back to try and touch those elbows. Ladies, you don't want to squish the girls, so you have your arms above them. Again, let's inhale to open wide. And exhale, bring those elbows together. We'll do this one more time. Big breath in. Do we still have our shoulders back above our hips? Do we still have our ears back above our shoulders? Exhale. On the inhale, open. Relax the arms. We'll turn back to center, bending that left knee and bringing right leg back. Was it easier or harder to go to the right?
It's harder this way.
Harder this way.
Yeah.
So we'll come back to center, and different people will find different sides work better. Again, knees are open, shoulder wide. We'll do our forward bend. Now, the last time we kept our head up so that our ears were in line with our shoulders, and we enjoyed that stretch in lower back, middle of the back. We let our arms hang by our sides so that we can enjoy the stretch between the shoulder blades. Now, if it is safe for your body, meaning no glaucoma, no untreated high blood pressure, no problems with vertigo or dizziness, if you have none of those issues and you feel inclined to do so, you have the option to let your neck relax and let your head hang down between your knees. Noticing how much that lets the muscles in our upper back soften and relax. And in that relaxation, we get a little more stretch. And as neck and upper back relax and stretch a bit more. By any chance, did you notice your fingers are closer to the floor? When you're ready, we can gently start to lift the head back up so ears are in line with the shoulders. We can bring the hands to the knees, and again, you can use back muscles or arms or both to carefully come on back up to sit. How do we feel? Believe it or not, it's time to start our closing relaxation already. So if you'd like, be welcome to slide all the way back in your chair. If you want to put your feet on your yoga block at home, if you don't have a block, you're welcome to put your feet on a book. I have short legs, and so it's more comfortable for me to put a block under my feet so that my knees are in line with my hips when I sit. And again, we bring our shoulders back so that they're above our hips. We bring our head back so that our ears are above our shoulders. Now let's allow our eyelids to gently drift closed. And we're going to bring the fingers and the palms of the hands together, spreading our fingertips wide. So our hands look like this, but fingers point out from you. Let's gently open one finger at a time and bring it back together. So we'll pull the pinkies apart, bring them together, ring fingers apart, together, middle fingers, then index fingers, and then thumb. And we'll go back to the index finger, the middle finger, ring finger, thumb. One more time, we'll go up from little, through ring, through middle, through index, through thumb, and back down through index, through middle, through ring, through pinky. Now we're going to challenge ourselves and do them out of order. Can we do index and ring and middle and thumb and pinky? Let's try it again. Index and ring and middle and thumb and pinky. How about if we do middle, ring, index, pinky, thumb. Again, middle, index, ring, thumb, pinky. And then let's gently shake left wrist side to side, getting rid of any tension in the hand. As the left wrist goes side to side, can we gently shake right wrist up and down? And remember to breathe. Keeping the slow, smooth breath. Now let's shake right hand side to side. And add the left wrist going up and down. Again, mobility for the wrist. Brain exercise to stave off dementia. Hopefully keeping our neural pathways open, maybe creating a few new ones. And relax. Shoulders roll back. And whether you keep your hands to your lap, or whether you let your arms hang by your sides, just feel that nice, slow breath. Take all the time that you need to fill the lungs as you breathe in. Take all the time that you need to empty the lungs as you breathe out. Whenever you feel that you're ready, as we hear the sounds of nature in the background, can we create an image of a beautiful place? Maybe in your mind's eye, see 5 things where you are by the stream that you hear. There's no right or wrong about what you see. In your mind, picture 5 things that you see if you were sitting aside of this stream. And then when you feel that you're ready, let's shift to our sense of hearing. And can we notice 4 sounds that we hear in our beautiful, peaceful stream side setting? What 4 things can you hear? And then let's notice, what 3 things can you feel on your skin? If you're sitting by this beautiful mountain stream, what 3 sensations can you feel against your skin in this beautiful, safe, peaceful setting? And then, can we notice 2 fragrances, 2 odors or aromas that we smell? And lastly, as we gently part our lips, this time breathe in slowly through those parted lips, letting the air pass over your tongue, and notice, is there any one thing that you taste? and completely relax into and enjoy the amazing setting that you have created here in your mind by the stream. Everything that you see and you hear, everything that you feel and you smell and maybe taste, all help this beautiful, peaceful setting be your private refuge, a place that you can return to in your mind again and again, whenever you want, whenever you need. The setting is within you. It's always with you. It's always there for you to return to. So whenever you're frazzled or angry or upset, can you step away from the setting, step away from the situation, and give yourself just 3 to 5 minutes. And remember what you heard and saw and felt and smelled and tasted as you slow your breath and let those negative emotions gradually disappear into the peacefulness of this current setting. Now we know we can't stay there forever. So just like now, it's time to gradually let those images of what we see begin to fade to darkness. Let the sounds that we hear become silent. Let what we feel against our skin now be our seats, our feet on the floor. Maybe we can hear the sounds in the room around us. And as we begin to return our awareness back to this present moment, to where you are now, let's start to wiggle our fingers, maybe our toes. We can start to move our hands and our wrists, our feet and our ankles. From here, can we do a big breath in and reach up with arms and legs and yawn, stretching as if you've just gotten awake from the best night's sleep ever. And give yourself a big round of applause for all your hard work today. So thank you for all of you who have joined us live and in person. Thank you to those of you who are joining the Community Arts Center of Cambria County's YouTube channel. Thank you for joining me, Yoga with Adriann White. Thank you so much, everyone. Namaste.
Thank you.